Hello, everyone. My name is Azalea. Have you ever heard the words in Spanish, Señor, Señora, Señorita? Do you know how to use them? In this video, you will learn how to use name prefixes or name titles in Spanish. Let's get started. In English, we have lots of different titles to refer to a person, like Mr., Mrs., Miss, and many, many others. Same thing in Spanish. We have different titles to refer to different people in order to show them respect. Let's start with the title Señor. We abbreviate like this, Señor Pérez. For example, this title is used for men or people who identify as male, especially if they are older than you. Now, if you want to be super formal, you can say Señor and then the last name, like Señor Pérez. If you want to be a little bit more casual but still formal, you can say Señor and then the first name. For example, Señor Ricardo. Totally fine. Another title for men would be Don. This is a short word, so we don't need to abbreviate so much. This title is used for senior men or just someone older than us that we also want to show a lot of respect to. This title can be paired with the first name, like this, Don Ricardo. Notice so far there is no difference if the person is married or not. For a young male, we have a couple options. We can stick with the term señor. However, if, let's say, an older gentleman is talking to someone obviously younger than him, he would not say señor. He can choose the word joven, which literally means young men. This one is just young men. We don't say joven Ricardo or joven Martinez. Sounds a little bit weird. So it would just say joven by itself. Now for women, it's pretty much the equivalent. So for example, instead of señor, we would say señora. We abbreviate like this, Señora Guadalupe or Señora Martinez. It can work with the first name, again, if we wanted to be formal, casual, or very formal with the last name. Or the whole name. You can also say Señora Guadalupe Martinez. The equivalent of don is doña, with the ñ. Remember, this one is for senior women or someone who is older than you and you really want to show respect. You can say Doña Guadalupe. For a young lady, we do have the term Señorita. The abbreviation looks like this, Señorita Guadalupe, Señorita Martinez. There is no señorito. That doesn't exist. We either say señor or joven. Now, technically, you can say that señorita is the equivalent of miss. It's for a person who is not married. And señora would be the equivalent of Mrs., like a person or a woman who is married. And it gets complicated because then to refer to a woman, we have to see, do they look old enough to be married or not? And that's when it can get a little bit offensive. In Mexico, at least, women have attached that meaning to these words. Señora, it means that they think that I'm married, or they think that I'm old enough to be married, old, or that I have children. And señorita for someone young, like less than 18, or someone who's not mature enough. Here are a few examples. When asking for directions, you want to grab the attention of a woman, You can say, disculpe, señora, and then you see them turn around and be like, Señora? No. And that's awkward, right? It's awkward. Or if you say, go the opposite way, disculpe, señorita, and they are like, excuse me, I'm older than you. Please treat me with more respect. Still awkward. The good news is that when you're talking about usted, we can drop the señora and señorita. You can just say, disculpe, and wait for the person to turn around. Let's pretend we're going to ask someone where is the bathroom. Instead of saying, disculpe, señora, ¿dónde está el baño? Or disculpe, señorita, ¿dónde está el baño? You can just say, disculpe, ¿dónde está el baño? No, we are not offending anybody. So to recap a little bit so far, the words for Mr. or Mrs., we can say don or doña, señor, señora. For Miss, someone younger, señorita, or for the male equivalent, señor or joven. For Miss, the English unsure if she's married or not. There is no word in Spanish for this. Sadly, you have to pick señora or señorita and hope you are not offending anybody. That's why we have to keep an open mind and just taking the feedback. If they correct you, you can call me Señora Azalea, fine. Or they say, don't call me Señora, just Azalea. Then totally fine. Okay, apologies, great. Continue, move on. Another useful tool in order to not offend people by using señora or señorita, you can choose the professional title if you know it. Let's take me as an example. It would sound weird for me if you call me Señorita Azalea, to be honest. And it would also sound weird if you call me Señora Azalea, to be honest. But I can tell you, hey, I'm a teacher, right? So you can call me Maestra. It's in the username, Maestra Azalea, which means teacher Azalea. The abbreviation looks like this. And this is the masculine equivalent, maestro. Here are some more examples. This little abbreviation means licenciado or licenciada. You could say licenciada Azalea, for example. Licenciado and licenciada means that this person has a licenciatura, which is the equivalent to a bachelor's degree. You can pair it with first name, last name, or both. Now, if a person studies, for example, engineering, they are an engineer, the title is ingeniero or ingeniera. The abbreviation looks like this. If they are a professor, we say profesor or profesora. If they are a principal or the director of something, you would say director or directora. And of course, if they have a doctorate or a career in medicine, we usually say doctor, doctora. Those are just a few examples for professional titles. Of course, there's more. People can have more than one title. For example, if someone has a bachelor's in education, una licenciatura en educación, they can be licenciado or licenciada. But if it's in education, there could also be teachers, so they can also be maestros, maestras, or profesor, profesora. So the best thing to do is just ask. ¿Prefiere licenciada Azalea o maestra Azalea? And you already know. I'm sure in English you've encountered this term, mix. which is used when the person doesn't identify with Mr. or Mrs. So it's non-binary. In Spanish, sadly, there is no term or not an official term or equivalent to mix. Spanish speakers are still trying to figure out the best way to use inclusive language. In written Spanish, you could spell this way. The problem is that these are not the only words in Spanish that use gender. There's a lot. Adjectives take a gender depending on the subject. So for bonito or bonita, you can spell them like this. The problem, though, is the pronunciation. You could say señorks, boniques. It's just hard. People are just not used to it. It's just hard to pronounce. The at examples, I'm not even going to try to pronounce them because they don't have a sound for this in Spanish. What people are doing these days is that they change the o and the a, which means the gender in this case, to an e to make it a little bit more neutral. So you end up with something like this. This is not official, it's just something that people are using to see if they can include it in the language. It is not perfect because then you would have to change every adjective that takes a gender to the e, and it will definitely sound wrong because not everyone is using it. But it's a little start. Maybe Spanish will incorporate a new term to be the equivalent to mix. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like to keep practicing your Spanish, feel free to join me in a live class. I hope to see you soon. Espero verlos muy pronto. Bye!